Welcome to Redtastic. Story 1. So, let's just begin with giving some background. I am the youngest of 3 siblings, and I was the result of an affair my mother had with a coworker. My parents, non-biological dad and biological mom, stayed together regardless, but my youth was miserable. I was often verbally abused, degraded, humiliated and teased by my brother. Essentially, I was the black sheep. The only person who was good to me was my sister. As a result, I barely speak to my brother and parents. The good part though, being treated like garbage gave me a lot of motivation to move out as soon as possible. So I started working early, moved out, got myself a degree, and I'm now pretty comfortable in the upper middle class and in a good relationship. Now, last year I bought a house. It is way too big, but I figured if I ever want kids, I may as well have the space. Now the place has 6 bedrooms, 1 very large bedroom, 3 large ones, and 2 mid-sized ones. 3 bathrooms, 1 is attached to the very large bedroom me and my girlfriend use, a large kitchen, etc. Basically, just think of a very large house with a crap ton of space. Now, 2 weeks ago, my sister, the only one in the family I'm actively in contact with, told me our parents, our brother, his girlfriend, and their kid were about to be kicked out of their house. I told her I honestly did not care, and afterwards I couldn't help but to have a laugh about it. A week later, my sister told me they asked her if they could move in, but she declined, and given she lives in a 1-bedroom apartment, she obviously did not have space. She started pointing out I have space, though, which was odd. But regardless, I did not think anything of it. That brings us to yesterday, when my doorbell rang. I was working in the office, so my girlfriend opened the door. Within a minute, she was yelling for me to get to the door. I got there and all 5 of them were standing on my doorstep, along with their luggage. The moment my mother tries to hug me, I push her off and ask them what they think they're doing here. They say they lost their house. Now, I have a lot of space, and since they are my loving family, it probably would not be an issue to stay with me for a while. The moment they say this, my dad tries to push past me to get inside, so I block his way. Tell them to get off my property or I will call the cops. Now, I have been questioning my decision since my girlfriend and sister keep mentioning, my nephew is now homeless. He's only 2 after all, so we can't help what happened in the past. So am I the a-hole? You are not the a-hole, OP, and you're also in no way obligated to help them after all the things that they've put you through during all those years. Even though they are homeless, that doesn't give them a free pass into your house. If you're really worried about the kid, you can let him and his parents stay for a while, but the father has to ask you himself politely first. As for your parents, they can go to the shelter, especially after the way your dad tried to push past you to get into your house. That just shows his level of entitlement. It's good how you put him in his place and told them to leave. Now for some comments. Not the a-hole. People who will show up at your doorstep with their belongings without ever asking will most likely run up your utility bills, leave messes, and refuse to leave. Of the 5 people who showed up at your house, 4 were adults who can work and pay their own way in life. You did the right thing. Not the a-hole. They didn't want to know you, none of them, and made your life hell. Now you're doing better than them. They want you back. I can guarantee that as soon as they are back on their feet, they will treat you exactly the same again. Failing that, they will expect you to run around after them while they live with you rent-free. After all, they're guests and family. Not the a-hole. The adults in your family, other than your sister, are assholes for expecting they can waltz into your home when you have little to no relationship with them. You are not an asshole for refusing. They were not kind to you. Blood does not mean you owe them a roof. Story 2. My cousin Mandy is pregnant. She and her parents came for dinner yesterday with my parents, and I was invited too. I'll be straight. I don't like Mandy at all. She was always the favorite growing up. I was told by my grandparents, extended family, and even my own parents at times that Mandy was prettier and smarter than me and that I should be more like her. She was pretty and girly and I wasn't. She got good grades and went to university, which I didn't. I have a decent job and my own apartment. She has a 6-figure job and a nice house with a boyfriend. They've never said it, but I know my parents think I'm a failure compared to her. She knew she was the favorite and used to call me a freak, and got all my cousins to gang up on me and exclude me. Being pregnant hasn't made her any nicer. She made a few comments over dinner about how I'm bigger than her, even though she's pregnant. She said that she's sure her baby will have achieved more than me by the time it's 5. All I could say in response was that I didn't want anything to do with her spawn, because she would raise it to be a snobby brat just like her. Thing is, Mandy's boyfriend is mixed race, half black and white, so her baby will be mixed race too. 3/4 white, 1/4 black. I've never met the guy, but I have seen a couple pictures on Facebook. Mandy and her parents got really offended that I referred to a mixed race child as spawn. Mandy ran out in tears and they called me a racist. I'm sorry, but I did not intend that in a racist way. As I've said, I never met her boyfriend and didn't have him or the child's race in mind when I made the comment. I don't want anything to do with any spawn of such an awful woman, whether they are white or anything else. It wasn't a racist comment, it was a comment about what a vile person she is, and what a terrible mother she will be. You're not the a-hole, OP. Spawn isn't a racist term, but it sounds like your family doesn't care about you, and they really favor your cousin over you. This is not something you will ever win. You will always be at fault for whatever belief the cousin wants to create. She knows it, and that's why she played the victim. You may need to rethink keeping a relationship with your family, given that they enjoy watching you be put down without thinking of defending you, and they even get mad when you defend yourself. It will do you some good to cut ties with them. Now for some comments. Not the a-hole. Mandy picked a fight, dished it out, and couldn't take it. I don't know how spawn is now a term describing race, but okay. Mandy, keep playing the victim. Everyone sucks here. To be clear, using the word spawn is not racist. On that issue, you are in the clear. Doesn't change the fact that you have a huge chip on your shoulder and responded very poorly. Mandy said very cruel things. That makes her an asshole. But that does not excuse your response. You should have put her in her place, but remained calm and not cruel. I was so ready to call you the a-hole when I read the title, but not anymore. Spawn makes me think of devil's spawn, not a mixed race spawn, especially if the boyfriend, who is the POC, wasn't even there and you were insulting your cousin, not him. Unless you're leaving out information like how the boyfriend has been called spawn before, because of his race. I don't understand why your family thought you meant spawn in a racist way, not the a-hole. Story 3. My daughter is currently in university. She has always been super independent, so she has wanted to live by herself since she was 16. When my daughter was 1, I had been dating her mother for 7 months. My wife didn't have a custody arrangement set up with my daughter's father. One day when he came to visit, he just didn't return home with my daughter. We tried to get the police involved, but because she wasn't in immediate danger, and he was on the birth certificate or whatever BS they gave us, I spent the whole night driving searching for where he could possibly be, since he refused to tell us. I did that every day for weeks. We eventually had to go to court, which took weeks. My wife was devastated. We got my daughter back after 2 months of no communication. My daughter hasn't seen her dad in 7 years. When my daughter was old enough, we told her what he put her mother through. My wife was never fully healed and doesn't let our baby out of her sight for a second. My daughter recently told us she was meeting up with her father. She cut off texting and phoning her mother, and her mother is worried sick. She won't eat and can't sleep. I've told my daughter I won't pay for her rent if she can't even have the decency to talk to her mother. I've since been getting spammed by my daughter calling me an a-hole for pulling a power play, threatening to drop out of university. I've told her the terms of the agreement are to talk to her mother once a month, at minimum. I don't want to hear about her dad either. I may not be her father biologically, but what he did had an impact on me too. I also told her if she stops communicating for longer than 2 weeks, we will worry, since when we got her back from her father's, she was covered in bruises. Rough play, her father explained them away as. He got away with that too. Am I the a-hole? OP, you're literally just asking her to check in at least once every 2 weeks, to let them know she's still alive, and to talk to her mom at least once a month. That is asking the bare minimum of her. You and your wife just want enough contact with her to know that she's not dead. She's still going to school and hasn't been abducted yet. That is by no means controlling. That much contact isn't too much for someone to be asked to do. If she values her independence that much, then she is free to pay her own rent. Now for some comments. Not the a-hole, but I think forcing her to talk to her mother might be making the situation worse rather than helping. Just builds resentment. If she wants to be independent, maybe giving her the independence she wants would be better. Let her support herself, make her own decisions and mistakes. Otherwise, it's going to be a power struggle between you guys, wanting to keep her safe and her defiantly doing the opposite of what you say just because. They're not asking for affection, they are asking for contact, as in, we need to hear your voice once every 2 weeks so we know you're okay and alive, and not dead in a ditch somewhere. That is very reasonable, and not abiding by a simple rule like that, especially after she announced she's in touch with a biological father, makes them more paranoid. That paranoia is making them pull the "we stop paying" card, and as the benefactors, they have that right. For her parents' sake, she can alleviate some paranoia just by calling her mom and dad every few days. OP is not the a-hole. I love how, when even the simplest requirement is put on a college student by their parents, it is the parents threatening their future and not the choices the student is making. Stepdad is making a reasonable request. Daughter is being unreasonable and threatening to drop out of university. So, my daughter is threatening her own future. Listening to the full story. Your dad just sided with her because she was probably right. Nope. And to top it off, you lost your job because the pain was too much to handle. Are they really apologizing, or do they just realize, whoops, we made an F-up. We'll just say sorry and get it over with, only to flip out again if they find out you are still on pain medication because the doctors told you to? If you decide to have them back in your life again, please be careful. Set boundaries and tell them that any mistake they make regarding your pain medication and it's over. Guard your boundaries very well and don't let yourself be hurt again by them. You are happy now. Keep it that way. Also, high five for not abusing the drugs even though they are addictive. I admire you for that.